Welcome back to another episode of CoogsTalk, where Cougs talk sports. I'm your host, CK, and today I am here joined by Mathew and Jacob to discuss the question that's been on every Cougar sports fanatic's mind. Is University of Houston ready to join the Big 12?
Can compete with teams in the Big 12, most especially in basketball. In 2 out of the last 3 seasons, they were able to make it to the Final Four and the Elite 8 through 2021 to 2022. And this upcoming basketball team is adding 5-star recruit Doris Walker and 4-star recruit Terrence Arsenex, along with their returning players such as Marcus Castor, who averaged 18 points and 3 rebounds and 3 assists on 43% shooting and shot 44% from 3 on 9 attempts, which is really scorching hot. And Jamal Shed, who is going to have a bigger role on offense, and Tamar Mark, who averaged 10 points on 40% shooting last year. These key players, along with their added recruits, I feel like that UH can be a dark horse national championship contender going to this season. And for football, I really don't know if they can compete with teams in the Big 12 because especially what they're doing right now, I mean, they lost to Tulane, they lost to Texas Tech, and the locker room is not doing so hot. And then Holgerson, man, like if he does not take control with his team, then I just don't see him, going anywhere to any other Power 5 school or any other like FBS schools around America, No,
so. You are absolutely correct. And the problem is, before we can even talk about him going somewhere else, UH can't even get rid of him for a while. I mean, look, he's got almost $23 million left on his contract. I think it's 22.5, something like that. I promise you, the Cougars ain't coming up with that kind of pocket change when they're out here asking boosters for $150 million for the new football facility, right? We're not getting rid of Holgerson anytime soon. So what that means is Holgerson needs to take control of what's going on. We've heard him in the post-game press conferences saying, I'm not taking responsibility for the stupid stuff that's still going on the field. And I hear you, you've heard coaches say that, maybe in closed doors with their players, where they're saying, look, I can't play between the white lines. I get that kind of sentiment, but you can't say that in a press game conference where your comments are going to be taken out of control. Look, Dana, man to man, I can help you with some media training if you need or something, because right now your comments are looking crazy, man. He's talked about he's tired of being coaches. He's tired of motivating his players, tired of yelling, tired of screaming. Look, I get it, coach. I'm tired of yelling and screaming as a fan in frustration too. But at the end of the day, you have to take control of what's going on in there. Type in Dana Holgerson's name to Google right now. Not you, Dana, because your feelings might get hurt. But you type in Dana Holgerson's name right now to Google, and it is not pretty. You get YouTube videos talking about has Dana Holgerson lost control of his locker room. The Houston Chronicle's been saying, is Dana Holgerson on his way out? Or if Tillman don't bail him out, is he gonna get booted? Look, that is not the kind of distraction you need swirling around your team when they already have, like he said, 10 to 15 starters out for the season. When you already have issues with your offense, with everything, every facet of the game, defense is breaking down fourth quarter drives every single time. Dana needs to take control very soon. All he got to do is walk down Cullen Boulevard and go knock on the door of Kelvin Sampson over there at the Guy V. Lewis facility and say, Coach, how do I get my locker room under control? Because you hear guys committing to UH basketball just for Sampson. They calling him a legend. I ain't heard nobody call Holgerson a legend. Hey, look, I like the guy. I really want him to be great, especially when he's getting $4.4 million a year. He better be great, right? But going into the Big 12, you already had a boost in recruiting. This past year, their recruiting class went up 27 spots since they announced their Big 12, joining the Big 12, right? But then you hear Dana Holgerson after the Tulane game say, this roster is very far from a Big 12 level roster. Coach, those are your players. You recruited them. You're in year 4. Coach, what are we doing? He just needs to, as the face of the program, you have to put on the mask and be like, look, we cool and we got everything under control. Saying this isn't a Big 12 level roster? Coach, we don't need a Big 12 level roster to beat Tulane, who finished tied for last in the AAC last year. We don't need a Big 12 roster to do that. So I'm really concerned as far as that, because when you look at how the financials work across the nation for college sports, it's football at 1, basketball at 2. Everything else is either barely breaking even or rolling in the negatives, right? Your basketball and football have to be the money makers and by a good margin so you can support everything else. Right now, I'm not sure Cougar fans are going to show up because Cougar fans have already been notorious for as soon as they see their team not winning consistently, they peace out. I mean, when you look at it, what concerned me even was after a 10-game win streak, we play at home against conference rival Memphis because we don't really have any other Texas teams we're really looking to besides maybe SMU. You play against conference rival Memphis at home for your 10th game win streak. You only get what, like 28,000 fans in a almost 50,000 fan stadium? But you look down, you look down the road.
Like Texas A&M, man.
Look at Texas A&M.
UT. Like,
you don't even have to look at the bigger programs. Look at UTSA in their conference championship game. After a similar season, they finished with 12-2 as well, I believe. They had considerably more fans, almost 10,000 more fans than UH brought to their 10-win game against conference rival. So what's going on here? And you hear people say in the media, teams who sell out even when they're bad don't stay bad for long. Right now, UH couldn't even sell out a high school stadium with the way they're playing right now. And it's really scary. They can't hand these tickets away to the student section. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The most exciting thing about this past game was a YouTuber being in the student section. You know what I'm saying? So, look, I'm just saying something needs to be turned around. And I'm looking at the head coach. So, I'm not really sure that UH is going to be too ready because football is the one that needs to be the premier program.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with you on pretty much everything you said, man. And like Daniel Holgerson definitely needs to step up as a head coach during the season because if he does not, then he's going to be out of his job, man. All right, you can't allow, like, especially on defense, you can't allow so many penalties, man. I feel like they're the most penalized team in the nation as of right now. Like, that's discipline, man. Like, you have to discipline your players to not have as many penalties, man. And so this is a problem in this program that they need to fix right now. Because like if they want to go against the Big 12, or if they're gonna go against teams such as UT, like Texas Tech, Baylor, all these teams that were one spot at the top 10 in the AP poll. I mean, you have to discipline your players. You have to lift your players up, man. All right, you can't talk down your players, or else they're not going to respect you. Not only they're not going to play well, but they're not going to respect you as a coach. And so man, Daniel Holgerson, man, like he has to step up, bro, because if he doesn't, it's over.
Absolutely, and if you look, you can look even within the Big 12 right now and look at good examples of what some coaches are doing. Look at Kansas, for example. For the last decade, they've been averaging 2 wins per season. They get a new coach. They gave him maybe a year and a half, I think, so far. I mean, right now, there's talks that they could win the Big 12. You know what I'm saying? These quick turnarounds could happen. But at the same time, you look at what that coach has done. You hear him talking about players that probably should be getting more playing time, but are willing to take a step back because they know that you're only as strong as your weakest link, right? But then you have comments from UH coming out saying, players said, we have too many me players. I mean, when you look at that kind of thing, what kind of example does that set for your program? What kind of expectations are you going to have when you hit the field? But then look at a team like Kansas who now selling out stadiums, talking about a Heisman hopeful quarterback, because you have guys that are willing to take back seats, willing to step up when they need to step up because they believe in their coach, their program. Right now, I don't really see too many people believing in the Cougar program.
Thank you so much, Matthew and Jacob, for joining me here today. That's all we have for now. We'll see you guys. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you all next time on CoogsTalk.